there, how are you doing today? My name's Katie Ray and I'm a yellow status presenter with Younique. Now normally when I go live I am doing makeup demonstrations, but I thought it might be kind of fun to do something different today. And I'm going to show you how to do some nail art looks at home using everyday household items. I don't know if many of you know, but I have actually been running a nail art blog for the last 7 years. And a lot of times people will look at my nails and they'll ask me where I went to get them done, and they're surprised when I say that I did them myself. Lately I haven't been doing as much nail art, but I thought, hey, people are stuck at home, they've got no place to go, they've got nothing to do. Most women I should say, have a bottle or two of nail polish in their house. And why not take this time to try to learn how to do a new technique? I say a lot, I'm really sorry. I'm trying to get this video shared out to my group so that more people can see it. If you want to go ahead and do the same thing right now, you can. The techniques that I'm going to be sharing today, I'm going to be showing how to do some simple flowers, some dot flowers, some how to do roses. I'm going to do a gradient, stamping, and then the ever elusive water marble. So I hope, there are lots of other nail art techniques. There's lead lighting, there's reverse stamping, there's all sorts of, there's even more than that. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head. But I just thought I'd show some simple ones today. Now the stamping, if you don't have the materials at home, you're not going to be able to do that one with everyday household items, unfortunately. But I kind of just wanted to show how easy that one was, so that if people wanted to do the investment, it is kind of a cheap investment, to be honest, to get started with it. But just to actually explain how to do everything and the simple steps that it takes to do it. Now, I don't know how this is actually going to go, because I have to now, when I started to do the nail art, I have to rotate my camera and then spin it, which means I'm not going to be able to actually see the screen. So but I do have my laptop pulled up, and I'm going to be able to kind of view the comments and things over there. So if you have a comment or a question and it takes me a little bit to get to it, I'm not ignoring you. It's that I have to look at a different device to see your questions or your comments. So I will get to them. If I don't get to them into the live, I will definitely answer them in the comments afterwards. But here, whoops, I gotta turn my volume down on here so I don't get the feedback. So, all right, first things first. So Sydney is here helping me today, although she's not really on camera. Hi, Lisa. She's going to be helping hand me the products and using, my nails are painted already, and I don't want to take the polish off while I use remover or anything like that, so she's going to be my nail remover girl. So, and she picked the order of things. So first she wanted to start out with the flowers. So hang on a second while I flip you around and spin you for a ride, and we'll get started. All right, so here we go. So I started out to save time. I painted some swatch sticks that I had on hand and let them dry for a couple days. They didn't need to be a couple days, to be honest. I started this thinking of doing this. I was going to do it Monday, and then I didn't get around to it, and now it's Wednesday, and they've been drying for quite a while. So I just painted a teal blue color on my swatch stick. I'm not going to need any remover yet, Sydney Jo. Now I went and spent 97 cents at Walmart, and I got this little artist easel for my paints in the adult craft section, not where the kids crafts are, but where the adult stuff is. So I like to use that when I put my polish in there. I'm gonna try to make sure I get everything on screen. Now you can buy these on Amazon for pretty cheap. It's called a dotting tool. It's got different sized dots on either end. That's generally what I do for my flowers. However, you can use a toothpick to do a dot flower. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the toothpick first. And the polish that I'm using first right now is called Blush Lacquers. Horizon is the name. This is not one that you can buy in stores. This is an independent nail polish maker, and you have to order from online. in her shop. But it's really simple. You don't need a whole lot to do a flower. Just put 2 little drops on my easel there. And then with your toothpick, put a little polish on there. Now you want to stable your pinky to get the best results. But all it is 5 dots. And you just kind of go around in a circle. And you can add more polish to your toothpick if you want to, or when needed. But this is just a real simple little flower to do. If you want your flower petals to be bigger, you can go, I might have to zoom you guys in. This is a little hard to see. Hang on here. If you want your petals to be bigger, you can always go back in with the toothpick and add a little more to them. To make them a little bit larger. So there's a simple little flower. And then if you want, you can stop right here and leave it just like that to make your little flower shape. Or if you want, you can add a center to it. You can add leaves to it. Today I'm just going to be showing adding a center to it. Just something simple. Because I also want to show you on this same swatch how to do a rose, which is pretty easy. So again, just with your toothpick, I want to dip it in the polish. And you just go ahead and add that to the center. There we have it. Simple, quick, and easy way to do a flower. All it took was some nail polish and a toothpick. Now the next one you can do with the toothpick, but it's going to take a little bit more, a little bit harder to do with the toothpick. I generally do it with a tiny little paintbrush, but I'm going to show you with a toothpick today just because I want you to be able to learn how to do them with items that you have at your home. So I'm going to start out. Now you can do roses with any kind of color. I'm going to do kind of some pinky purple ones. I don't need that one yet. This polish is Sinful Colors and it's called Raising the Roof for this color. You used to be able to buy Sinful Colors nail polish at Walgreens and Walmart. Over the last year, they've been pulling them out of the stores. Only select Walmarts have been carrying them, but you can still get them online from Amazon if you're looking for them. They're cheap. They work great for water marbling, all sorts of nail art techniques. Usually they're really pigmented. Although I will say with that particular polish line, sometimes the formula is hit and miss. You can get some really good ones and you can get some kind of streaky, not so good ones. So right now I'm just loading up my toothpick with a little bit of that darker color. And to start with your base of your rose, basically you just want to do kind of like a round blob, but you don't want it to be a perfect circle because you want to make it look like it's got petals, the shape of petals on a flower. And you can make it as big or as little as you want. Although on a fingernail, usually you don't have a lot of canvas, so you're going to want to have it kind of small. Now the only thing with this one is you kind of have to let that polish dry before you move on to the next step. So we're going to set that off to the side and I will move on to the next technique. Hi Casey! I will move on to the next technique, which is going to be a gradient while I wait for that to dry before we finish the rose. So now for those of you who don't know, a gradient is where on your finger the polish starts out with one color and it shifts and transitions to another color. The general rule of thumb when doing a gradient on your fingernails is to have the darker color down at the base of your nail and the lighter color up at the tip. But you know what? nail art is art, and do it however you want, whatever way you'd like. I recommend starting out with a base coat on your finger of a polish color. Sometimes you can do it just the lightest color of the gradient that you're going to be doing. I just went with the neutral off color as my base color here. It's going to make your gradient look brighter and be more pigmented when you're done with it. And all you need to do your gradient is this handy dandy little makeup wedge that everybody used to use for applying their foundation. Please don't apply your foundation with these anymore. If it's all you have, if it's your choice is either one of these makeup wedges or your fingers, use the makeup wedge. But otherwise, please don't use these for your foundation anymore. It's not going to give nice even coverage. You're going to want a beauty blender of some sort. But let's get started. I am using, unfortunately, this nail polish company is no longer in business. It was another indie brand called Cult Nails. But I'm going to be doing a purple to pink gradient because I have spring on my mind right now. And I am excited. I want to get outside in the yard and play. Unfortunately, we can't today because it's rainy and gray and everything is soaking wet. But hopefully soon we'll be able to get outside in the yard. Okay, so now you're going to want to take this wide part of your sponge and you're just going to, let me move the polishes here. Paint the polish onto it. And you can go ahead and, have a lot of polish on your brush when you do this. That's no problem. When you paint your next color, you want to overlap them. You can do this with 2 colors, 3 colors, 4 colors, depending upon how long your nails are. I'm just doing a simple 2-color one today so that you get the idea. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to take that sponge and just put this down. Dab it onto your nail. Now, you don't want to dab up and down and keep dabbing and keep dabbing and keep dabbing because after a while, as the polish starts to dry and get thinner, it's going to start pulling off the nail with the sponge. So generally, if I'm doing my entire hand, I'll do like 2 dabs on a nail and I'll move on to the next one and I'll go across my hand. Then I'll put more polish on the sponge and then I'll do it again. And usually 2 to 3 passes, depending, was enough, all that I need to get a full coverage gradient. It depends on the nail polish colors that I'm doing and the consistency of the formula. But that one actually, oops, we got a little on the side here. But as you can see, I don't know how well you can see. Come on, focus. The color transitions nicely on that nail. I can't even quite see how it fades from the purple to the pink. Now that one's more of a subtle gradient. These polishes were pigmented enough that I probably don't need to go in with another coat, but I'm going to just to make it that much more vibrant. See if I can get more of a transition to show for you. And I'm apparently making a mess also on my mat. This mat that I have down here, it is a nail art mat. It's silicone. I use it to protect all my surfaces. You don't have to buy a special one. You can go to the dollar store and find a silicone baking mat, and that's going to work just fine. You can put paper towels down. You can put a piece of paper down. Whatever you have at home is fine, and it's going to work just to protect your surface. Like I said, I've been running a nail art blog for 7 years, so I have gotten a lot of the tools and things that make it just that much easier to do. But there we have it. That's, come on, focus. 2 coats of a gradient. Wish it would focus. You can see the transition, the way it fades from color to color. And when you have it how you want it, I just go ahead and do top coat. Now, if you are regular to going and getting your nails done at a salon, you'll notice that they dip their brush in the bottle once with top coat and then they do all of your nails. When you're doing nail art, you don't want to do that. That's not enough top coat, and you need more of it on your brush so that you don't smear your nail art. So what it's called is called floating the top coat. I don't know how easily I'm going to be able to show this to you on camera, but basically you want a big, like a drop of top coat on the bottom of your brush, and you're basically not even touching the nail, just sliding the top coat across. Now you might think, oh, if I have that much top coat, it's going to take forever for my nails to dry. There are quick dry top coats out there these days where when I paint my nails and do nail art, I usually sit there for about 10 minutes and then I'm good to get up and start doing minimal stuff with my hands. I'm not going to start digging in drawers and everything else, but I will, I can do minimal stuff with my hands. It's not like I'm stuck sitting there not being able to touch anything. So there's a simple gradient. Now you can go ahead. Hi, Amy. You could go ahead and stamp over the top of that if you wanted to take it one step further. You could do the dot flowers over the top of that, or you could leave it just as the gradient as you want. If you're going to do nail art over this, however, I would recommend letting that top coat dry before you go on to the next step. Now I'm going to see. All right, the base for my rose is almost dry enough to go on to the next step. So we're going to live dangerously and we're going to do it. Now, assistant, can you please take the remover and clean the polish off of my mat for me, please? Amy, does Lola like to do nail art or want to learn how to do nail art? These are something that are super easy to do at home. You need a toothpick and nail polish, pretty much. Can you get a little more here? Oh, yeah. Thank you. That's all right. All right, she's the Vanna to my Pat today. There we are. That, and it gave this a couple more moments to dry before I go on to the next step. Okay, so now, if you remember, I've got my blob, my little base for my rose. It's just kind of, just a blob, round in shape. Maybe has some parts that go out a little bit like leaves, but nothing too descript. And to be honest, it's going to look a little abstract. The rose is going to look a little abstract. If you were looking at it up close on your nails, you're going to go, oh, that doesn't really look like a rose. But trust me, it's going to look like a it's going to look like a rose. Would you go grab my white? It should be sitting right just on top of my desk.
Sure. Once I escape this chair.
All right, I'm sending Sydney to go get white. The pink that I grabbed to do on the rose, I don't think has enough contrast, so I'm going to add a drop of white to it to get a little more contrast for you. Now, generally when I'm painting roses, I do it with acrylic paint because it's a little easier to work with and it dries super fast. But I want to show you that it still can be done with nail polish too. Yep. All right, so I'm mixing just a hair of a drop of white. So like, woo, that was a little bit more than a hair. But it's another thing, if you don't have the color that you really want, you can make it. You can mix them together. Super easy to do. All right, that should work, no problem. Okay, so now this is where you're going to need a steady hand and to be able to kind of see up close because we're going to be drawing little C's on that blob. So I like to start in the center. And normally I work a lot closer to my face, so this is going to be interesting. But just a little C. Doesn't even have to be a full C. But you just kind of want it to be kind of curved. I really hope this is focusing. I can hardly see on my screen because my light is above me and it's causing a glare. And there's just enough delay on my computer that I can't tell exactly what's going on. Or I can't see exactly how well it's working, but I'm hoping it's working great. Okay, then what you're gonna wanna do is just draw little C's around that. Just to kind of form petals. Again, a teeny tiny little craft brush that you can pick up from Michaels works a little better for this than a Q-tip, or a toothpick, not a Q-tip. Could you imagine trying to do nail art with a Q-tip? Alright, and again, I'm balancing my pinky on my hand, on my other fingers that's behind. I do it that way when I'm doing other people's nails or doing on the swatch sticks. If I'm doing my own nails when I do it, depending upon the nail, I'll rest my pinky again on my hand, or if I need to, I can rest my hand on the table when my pinky on my finger, just to try to be a little more steady, a little more balanced. I have a chat going on with some friends, and one of them was like, "What? You do nails too?" Yes, Rachel, I do nails too. I've been doing nails for a lot longer than I've been attempting to wear makeup. I've gotten out of it recently. I haven't really done a whole lot. I've still been painting my nails, but I haven't been doing a lot of nail art in the last year. And part of it's because I was getting burnt out on it. When you're running a blog, there's a lot of pressure to show up every week, all the time. And it's hard to come up with the different ideas to do all the time and to try to stay current. And it can get expensive. There are some ladies that I've known from the nail art community that get sponsored posts all the time. They have a huge following, for one, and they get products sent to them to review before it's released. So to kind of help generate buzz for the companies, mostly independent companies, nail polish companies, people that make up from their homes. But some of them get from, like, I've gotten a couple from China Glaze before. Not a lot. But so then that's easy. You paint the polish on your fingers and you take pictures of it and you explain about the formula and how it worked and all sorts of stuff. And people want to see the new stuff and get excited if you're in that community. I wasn't that big of a nail blogger. I didn't get those opportunities all the time, so it was hard to keep coming up with stuff to blog about, and you could only swatch a red color on your nail so often before you run out of ways to describe it. So I got a little burnt out. I took a step back and I kind of miss it, kind of want to get back into it. And I thought this would be kind of fun. I haven't done nail art in a while. This is a little way to kind of help ease myself in. It is a way to kind of spark my interest again. And hey, people are at home, people are bored, they're looking for things to do. Why not show the few simple little tricks that I know? So now I've let that dry for just a few minutes, not a lot of time, just a few minutes. And again, we're going to want to float our top coat so that it doesn't smear the nail art. Let me see if I can get this to focus on the rose for you. So there we are, simple abstract little rose. Now up close, it doesn't look fantastic, obviously, but I It looks close enough to a rose to pass, especially if people are going to see it from a distance. You can take that toothpick and put green on the sides if you want to add little leaves. Again, that's just like kind of like a straight line, not a super long line, but kind of like a little bit of a straight line coming out from the side and then coming back almost like a little triangle will work. We've got our dot flower up at the tip. That one, you can make those dots a little bigger if you want. Why don't I go ahead and show you with the dotting tool the difference between the dot flower with the Q-tip versus the dotting tool. Now these you can buy for like $1 or a couple dollars on Amazon for a 5-pack. They're going to come with different size balls on either end, so you're actually going to get 10 different sizes to use. And they make this kind of nail art super easy. So we're gonna go ahead and, oops, that polish is drying. My little easel, because I only put a drop or two of polish, it's starting to dry in my little tube. We'll just add a little more and be good to go. Okay, so this one you can pick whatever size ball you want. And again, I'm gonna go this way. You're gonna steady your pinky finger and just make the 5 dots. There we are. If you want to get super fancy, you can put dots in between those with another color. Maybe one that's just a hair. Oh, Rachel's making me laugh. With her comments. Dang, girl. It's not as hard as you think. It's actually pretty simple. I'm trying to show how simple it is today. All right, so we'll take, now this is just a little bit different. A little bit different shade than the original. Got a lot of polish on that. And you know what? If you make a mistake, that's okay. I mean, that's how you learn. That's how sometimes you can make something that looks really, really cool and it has nothing to do with what you originally started out wanting to do. But these dotting tools make nail art really easy. And my flower's kind of gotten gargantuan, but hey, it works. Almost looks like a poppy. We're gonna add a little gold center to that one too, because I like the sparkly gold. Why not? I'm gonna go a little extra today.
It looks almost like a bronze color.
My sparkly gold looks like a bronze to you? I suppose because the base is, it's got glitter in it, so the base is one color and the glitter is another. And we're gonna go ahead and pop that gold right in the center just for a little pop of bling. Focus. You know, nothing too elaborate. I really wish this would focus. But there you are, simple nail art that you can do with dotting tools and or toothpicks over your base color. And then again, when you want to Hi, Chad. Hi, thanks for jumping on. You must be on lunch. Again, this is where you're going to want to float your top coat so that you don't smear everything that you've done. So you take, and that means basically having a big glob of it on the end of your brush so that just the top coat is touching the nail and not the actual brush. There we are, no smearing. And I just painted that flower. So that's another easy step to do. All right, now this next one is stamping. And like I said, this is the one where you can't do with household items at home. You're gonna need to, if you wanna do stamping, you're gonna have to invest a little money. There is a Pueen, P-U-E-E-N stamping kit down at Walmart that actually works really well. And it's, I think, $10. So it's not a huge investment if you want to try this and want to get started, but you are going to spend a little money. Basically, stamping is images engraved in a metal plate. Hi, you can see my reflection. Try to get this. And you can get almost any image on these plates these days if you want. This particular one is from a company called You Are Beautiful. Letters U, letter R, and then beautiful. And it's just got some geometric patterns on it. It's one that I happen to have sitting next to my desk, so I grabbed it for today. And the image I'm going to try to do today is this crosshatched one, just so you can kind of see how it works. The other thing you're going to need is a scraper. Old gift cards work really well for this. You don't want to use business cards because they're generally paper and they're not going to hold up. But old gift cards are going to work because they're plastic. And then you're going to need a stamper. My favorite is this one from Bundle Monster. It's got a squishy head on it, and you could actually see through it. So when you're going to do your nail art, you can see exactly where you're putting your image. The one from Pueen, in that kit, you also get a squishy one in that kit. It's probably my second favorite one because it's nice and short like this. You can see through it. It's got the squishy head, so it's super forgiving. I'm just taking a lint roller and going over the top of my stamper now that I've touched it with my finger to get my natural oils off of it. Okay, so super simple. Most nail polishes will work for stamping. I do have a couple that are specific for stamping. It just means they're thicker. This one from Sassy Sauce is a specific stamping polish. It's more pigmented and it's thicker. This one from Blush Lacquers is not a specific stamping polish. However, it would work. And the way to test that is when you do it on the top neck of the bottle there, if you can't really see through it, chances are it's going to be thick enough to stamp with. Same with this one from Cult Nails. When I wipe the excess polish off of the brush, I don't know how well you can see that, how thick it looks on the side of the bottle. That's a thick one. That's going to work for stamping also. So that's an easy way to test if your polish is going to stamp without actually trying to stamp with it and ruining your manicure. So easy way to stamp. Get my hands out of the way here. Oops. You've got your image plate. Mine's got fingernail prints on it, so I'm going to kind of just get those off of there. Get my natural oils off of it so it doesn't react with the polish. Okay, so you take your stamping polish, and what I do is I will paint across the image. And if I'm doing a full nail image, I usually do it twice. Now you do tend to have to work quickly with this so the polish doesn't dry, but you just scrape the excess off, take your stamper, stamp it down. There you can see the image. I want to take your nail, line it up, press down, and then I usually rock from side to side to cover both sides of the nail. Now you are going to get, I don't know how well you can see this. You can kind of see those little strings of polish hanging off from the side. Those you can just kind of touch and bend down. They're so thin that they're not going to cause a problem. Some people take a tiny little, the ELF brush. God, it's a super thin brush. I think it's their concealer brush. You can get it for like $1 at Walmart or Target. I usually take a little cup of acetone and or nail polish remover, and I dip that little brush in there, and then I can go through and clean up along the sides of my nails with that brush without ruining my actual nail polish. All right. Oh, you're eating.
But I can still clean it off.
Well, I don't want your hands to get full of nail polish
I won't.
while you're eating. All right. And again, when you top coat this, you're going to want to float your top coat so that you don't smear the image. Now you can double stamp. I've seen people do a background, like a full pattern like this, and then after it dries, they'll stamp flowers over the top of it, or they'll stamp in another color. It all depends on your personal taste and preference.
Do you want me to clean that up?
Oh yeah, you need to clean the bottom.
I need more.
So there we are. Oh, focus. So there's just a simple stamping image. I took the cloths away from Sydney. She's trying to clean up, and then we don't have any on there. To get the excess polish off your stamper, you don't want to take nail polish remover to the stamper head. That's going to ruin it. So you just take your lint roller, roll it right over the top, and it pulls all that excess polish off for you, and your stamper is clean and good to go. All right.
Now I'm going to do what all of us should be doing
Chad's now
frequently.
texting me. Honey, if you're calling me and texting me, I can't answer it right now because I'm live.
Now I'm going to do what everyone should be doing frequently. Wash my hands.
Yes, go wash your hands. All right, now, the last nail art look that we're going to be doing for you today is probably the one that takes the most time and is the hardest for people to do. However, it's actually really easy, and that's the water marbling. So to water marble, you're going to need to start with a dish. I'm going to shift my camera here. I'm going to start with a dish. Now I just have this little souffle clip here that I just use over and over and over again. However, you can use something smaller. This is like those little 4-ounce souffle cups that you get in a restaurant. I wouldn't recommend using plastic because I don't know what the nail polish is going to do to plastic. But if you have the little Dixie cups that are this size, you can go ahead and use those. You don't have to use something that's quite as large as this. Now the key to this is to use room temperature water. They say you're supposed to use room temperature filtered water. I've never used filtered water, and it's been just fine. I've always just used water from my tap, and I've let it sit for an hour or two to get to room temperature, and then I do it. Oh, my video was paused. I don't know why. Are we still here? I hope we're still here.
You are.
All right, well, I'm going to keep going because I want to, oh, there we go. Now I caught back up. So I'm just going to pour some water into my bowl. This is another technique that you're going to have to work fast with because you don't want the polish to dry.
Because then you can't make patterns in it.
Yes. And you're going to want to pick your nail polish colors. Now, not every nail polish is going to work for water marbling. You're going to have to do a little bit of trial and error with yourself, with what you have on hand to see if it's going to work or not. Some polishes, when you put the drop in the water, the drop just floats, sinks down to the bottom. You can see On the bottom of my dish, there's some nail polish drops there. That's what happened. Those polishes weren't going to work, and so I had to choose a different color. Just going to give these a little bit of a shake here.
Some of those drops are from me.
Some of those drops are from Sydney. She likes to do water marbles too.
For me, it's my favorite.
With water marbling, you're going to want to start out with a base of white on your nails. That's going to help the colors show up more intensely and be more pigmented. Otherwise, they can look really pale and pastel and almost transparent. And you don't necessarily want transparent nail polish on your nails. So we're going to go ahead. I just picked some spring colors here. And you want to open up all your polish before you start. Take all the unscrew all the caps, but leave them in the bottles. Let's see how I can. My tripod here might be in the way a little bit for me to do this. Again, this is another one that you could do with a toothpick. I have a water marbling tool that I ordered. Basically, it's just a metal piece, and it's got metal on the end that comes to a fine point. Same thing as a toothpick. So I'm going to do it with a toothpick today.
That's the same thing, just made out of metal.
Pretty much the same thing, just made out of metal. Okay, so we've got our water, we've got our polishes all opened. And I'm pretty sure all of these are going to work, that I've used them before for water marbling, but it's going to be trial and error. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a lot of polish on and have it drop in. And then go to your next color and drop in the middle of where that, oh, come on. Come on! Oh. There we go. And do the next color. And then we're going to do yellow. You can repeat the pattern however many times you want. Once the polish stops spreading, then you're going to have to be kind of done. But as long as it still keeps spreading out, then it's going to work. Oh, that one got a little crazy. Ah.
That was tiny.
Come on. There we go. I'm going to see if we can get 3. The more pattern, the more rings you can get, the more of a pattern you're going to be able to do. Now I will tell you that first drop, that outer ring of polish that we put in, that one's dry already. We're not really going to be able to do anything with that. Alright, I think this last drop of yellow is going to be about the last one we can do. It's not really spreading too far anymore. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to want to do our design. So I like to do one where I take it from the middle, pull out. See that first, how it dried and wanted to pull? Again, we're going to go across, pull out, over, over. Now if you notice, I've run my toothpick up the side of the bowl when I do this because I want it to stop. I'm going to go in. Now I'm not going from the very outer line because that's already dried. And it's just going to drag and pull our design and make it muddled. So there we are. So now you can stop and just do that design. I know a lot of people like that. You can keep going in if you want. There are some people that will swirl. There are all sorts of designs that you can go for. And then once you have the design that you want, something that you like, you're going to want to take your finger. Now, generally, if I'm doing my actual nails, I put tape around my finger because this is going to get messy. I also have a peel-off protective layer. It's a latex, like polish, basically, that I paint around to protect my nails. But Scotch tape works just as well. You find whatever part of the design that you like. You dip the nail in. And then you actually want to hold your finger in there and pull the rest of the polish out. Because otherwise, when you pull your finger back through,
The rest is gonna come with.
the polish is going to stick to your finger and it's going to muddle your design. So you want to try to hold your finger as still as possible in the water. Take your toothpick or whatever tool you're using. Get that polish out. And then pull your nail. Oh, I didn't get it all. Straight up. And there you are. Sometimes you might have to tap your finger if there's a water droplet on there. But there is our water marble design ready for top coat and good to go. There are all sorts of different patterns that you can do depending upon, hi Christina, depending upon what look you're going for. There's flower petals, different things like that. This one's just a simple, easy one. It's kind of fun. When I first started out, I would do this to all my nails and have all 10 fingers like this. Then I kind of realized that's a lot. So usually I'll just do it as an accent nail. So it's one nail on each hand. And then I'll take one of the colors that's in here to paint the rest of my nails on. Now this one is ready to top coat right away. Again, you're going to want to float your top coat so that you don't smear any of the design. Try and do this on camera. And don't be afraid to use your top coat. Top coat is generally pretty cheap compared to nail polish. Don't be afraid to use a lot of it to protect your design and to make sure that you're not smearing your design. So there you are, you have it. 4 easy nail art looks that you can do at home with tools that you have at home. Well, except for the stamping. You're going to have to spend some money on to do the stamping. What are you doing?
So they can feel them.
Oh. So here we are. They're dropping out of my hands. So there you have it. We have our dot flowers, our rose. Hold them up individually. Easy ways to do flowers on your nails. Then we have our gradient. Again, you could stamp over the top of this if you wanted to, or you can leave it just as the gradient, or heck, you could even do your dot flowers over the top of this if you want. We have our stamping. And then we have our water marble. Water marbles is the most time consuming out of all of the techniques. When I've done them on other people and they want all 10 nails done, it can be over an hour-long process. But it is kind of fun to do. It's fun to practice. So I hope, I don't know, you enjoyed that you learned something today, and that with your time being stuck in the house, I'm going to flip you around here and talk to you guys all again. Whoa, going for a ride. I hope that you learned something, that you tried some of these techniques. If you do, share a picture of them on my page, either in my VIP group or on my business page. Lustrous Life, A Unique Experience is the VIP group, and just Lustrous Life is my business page. Share a picture, show me what you've done, show me what you've learned. If you have any questions or you need any advice or tips on what to do or techniques to my Vanna has to get in here. If you have any questions about anything that I did, reach out, ask me. I'm more than happy to answer them and help. Other than that, have a great day. Stay safe, stay inside, and we'll see you when this is all over. Hopefully we can all get together soon. Enjoy your day. Bye.